We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. There's been reports all over the area of something crazy going on, something big. People's homes, their minds even, are being taken over by something called, what is it they're calling it? They're calling it Bad Movie Debate.
What up, nerds? It's me, Jacob Babb, with Bad Movie Debate, and we got another review episode for the new M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap with Josh Hartnett. It's a movie, and we'll talk about it a little bit deeper in a second. But first, with me today, I got my boy Drew. Say what up, man.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy to be here. Thank you, Jacob, for having me on. As soon as I saw this movie, I texted you, and I was like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah, this movie came out Friday, right?
Very recently.
Like it came out
yes.
like this past Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you texted me like that day, I think. Mm-hmm. Like, did you see it that Friday? Like Friday?
I did, yeah. So, for you guys who don't know me, which is like most all of you, I have kids, and so I don't get to see movies very often. And so my wife was being spontaneous, as all of us men hope our wives do. And she was like, we're going on a date night. We're going to eat dinner, which dinner was eating hibachi at home in our bed, which is perfect. And then we went to go see Trap. Right, exactly. Yeah. There were no kids in the house. That was the main thing. And then we went to go see Trap, and I literally knew nothing about it. I had not seen a trailer, not a poster. All I knew that Josh Hartnett was in it. She's like, watch this trailer. And I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
As people know, I did a whole little episode. I fucking hate trailers.
Yep.
I ruin everything.
I was there. I was right there with you, brother. I was giving you the amen from the back like a good Baptist dude. I had my Baptist nod going on, bro. I was with you, man.
Yeah, hell
I was
yeah.
with you. I'm not even Baptist, dude, but I was there. I'm Anglican. We don't do anything, really.
We don't do shit. We don't even like music.
Nah.
Oh my god. Yeah, because you texted me so soon, and you were like, "Hey, can I put myself in contention for this? Because I got some thoughts." And I was like, "Okay, shit. Let me check my schedule." And I was like, "I can go see it today. It's Monday." After like the opening weekend, and I was like, shit, there's like an 11:30 showing like in the morning. Like, fuck yeah, I got nothing
weird
I'm
coming out of a movie theater into the daylight. That's such a weird thing.
So weird. It was like 2 o'clock, and I was like,
what did we go see? The Peel movie about the alien. Nope.
Oh, Nope.
We went and saw Nope, and we came out of the theater, and it was like broad daylight. I was like, this is weird, but also kind of fit with the movie too. But
yeah, it was also, but like with that one too, it's like there's a lot of really dark scenes in there. So like you're in like basically a completely dark room for most of that movie. So like coming out and just God, Jesus Lord, it's like
and there was probably like a handful of other people in that theater too. So
yeah, exactly. I was completely, but when I went in. Besides the 3 employees that were working, I promise you I was the only person in that building that was not actively working. When I came out, there was some people coming in.
Yeah.
But
did you hold up your phone to your ear and you were like, babe, did you want Sour Patch Kids, babe? Yeah, okay, let me get a bag of Sour Patch too. Let me
hell no. I went in there and I said, here's my movie ticket. I'll take 1 drink and this pack of Twizzlers for myself. 1 ticket printed out, and he went, you're gonna be over that way. And I was like, thanks, bro. And then there was nobody in the theater, which is my favorite way to watch movies.
Yes, dude.
I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, going to the movie theater is the best way to experience any new movie. There's no doubt about that. But the
100%.
the next thing is having one where you don't have anybody else in the theater. It's always really nice if it's just you and your cronies, or like just you and yourself. Like if you like to go see movies by yourself, like I do. Having nobody else there is ideal, and the best way to do that is go see it as early as possible during the day, because people don't like going to see movies during the day, even though they have like noon show, and it's cheaper. Exactly. So take that with what you will. Like it'll be cheaper, it'll be smoother, you'll be in and out, like none of this nonsense. It's great. You'll miss out on the popcorn buckets, that they do on like the Friday, Saturday opening week, but like, that's fine. You'll be fine.
Do you want an M. Night Shyamalan popcorn button? Who knows, dude?
No. I mean, what would it look like for this movie? Like,
it would just have a trapdoor. At some point during the film, it would just open in your lap.
There's just a bunch of butter and popcorn all over your lap, and you're like, no, M. Night, you've done it again, you bastard.
How does he do it?
Honestly, that would have made, not to say that this movie was completely bad, that would have made the experience a lot better. That would have been super fucking funny. You go to pick up your drink and it just falls out from the bottom because it's like a little paper cup, like it just falls out, and you're just like, ah! Like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I actually really love that. So that's hilarious. So we're gonna talk about Trap. This is gonna be more of like a review kind of thing because we both are kind of on the fence about how we feel about it overall. Because it's
and we may come to a definitive conclusion by the end too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
I don't know.
Like, you know what? In review, and I will say too, like when it comes to film and stuff, like I'm pretty. I'd say like I'm a high level layman. Like I've seen most of like the classics, and I understand them from like most points of view. You know, obviously I've never done like film school or anything, you know, and I haven't seen every movie, but I do see movies when I can, and I do try and critique them fairly. So I try and keep my M. Night Shyamalan love out of this, but I do have some M. Night Shyamalan. I also have a lot of hatred, which we should get out of the way. Avatar: The Last Airbender was a terrible movie, and he will never be forgiven for that. You should put that aside for tonight.
Hey, me and my buddy Justin, Justin, we did a whole episode about it. He was one of my first episodes. And I was like, "What movie do you want to do, Justin?" He was like, "The Last Airbender," and I was like, so "Are you gonna say it's good?" And he was like, "Nope," and I was like, "Damn it!" I was like, "All right." I was like, "All right, I guess I'll find the good in it and stuff." And he ruined me with a single line, a single point of information. I'll just go ahead and spoil it for everybody. It doesn't matter. I was like, overall, it's like a pretty good story. Like the story flows, like and stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, it's good because it's adaptation of one of the best shows ever." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." He was like, "You're right." That was pretty much my whole argument. Was like tied to that. Like the story is really cool and interesting. And he's like, "Yeah, because it's based off of one of the best shows that Nickelodeon's ever done." And I was like, cool, I have nothing else to say because everything stems from that point. So here we are. Speaking of spoilers, there's going to be a fuck ton of spoilers in this review. We don't have to be, we don't have to be. I know it's early, like it just came out and stuff, but like there's no way to talk about it like this without talking about specific plot points and stuff. So we're gonna have to.
And I think now that I've seen, I actually went and looked at some of the marketing material. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I did. I saw this one. I saw the trailer for this one because I went to go see Longlegs and they played it, and like gotcha. I did see the trailer then, and I was like, because it like started coming up, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I was like, that's pretty interesting concept, I guess. And then it was like M. Night Shyamalan, and I was like, okay, and we'll see how it is. Before we get into talking, I do want to talk about some of the M. Night Shyamalan movies. M. Night Shyamalan. God, I'm saying it too fast. M. Night Shyamalan. I keep stumbling.
Yeah.
Some of the movies I do like of his, and then we're gonna go over like some like the Rotten Tomatoes. Like we're still gonna do like the scores and the good quote, bad quote that I normally do for the debate episodes and stuff. Just because like I just love a good bad quote. The bad quotes are always so fun. But
it's just like all their vitriol, all their hatred towards their editor poured into one quote. Basically,
the best ones are the ones that are always really short. I didn't get a really short one, but like I've literally had ones for movies that are like that. It's like boring and bland was the title. Was the clip that's on Rotten Tomatoes when you're looking for at the
TV Variety says.
Yeah, it's like I've had ones that are like that from like Hollywood Reporter, like some like the biggest thing, Associated Press,
just
like
Associated.
Yeah, you like the fucking Associated Press, like the height of like unbiased journalism and stuff, and like their review on Rotten Tomatoes, like before you read the whole thing, is like it was literally been like. I'm obviously being facetious, but it's like I did not like this movie. I don't think you will either. It's bad. And that's like their main point. It's like okay,
Al
great.
Jazeera says infidels will watch this forever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, okay, damn. Like, all right, any more detail? Exactly. Like, those are my favorite for sure. So my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies are obviously The Sixth Sense is like the pinnacle of like M. Night Shyamalan, and then my favorite is Signs, though.
Okay.
I will never forget watching Signs at like 10 years old for some reason. I guess my sister, who doesn't like these kind of movies, like she had some friends over and they were watching it, and I wanted to watch the movie with them because, like, you know me, I like aliens and stuff. And like, I'm like, alien movie, cool. Mel Gibson wasn't a complete fuck at that point, so it was like, oh,
I
Mel
mean, he
Gibson,
probably was, but we didn't know.
Well, he was unbeknownst to the world.
Everyone didn't have a video camera and a recorder at that time.
No one knew. The layman did not know he was a complete fuck. So it was like, oh, he's a good actor, so you could, Braveheart, like, so you go to watch it. Yeah. And then Joaquin Phoenix obviously is great, and I will never forget squeezing my sister's friend's hand as hard as I could, shaking violently as the alien comes across from like the clip from Brazil that he's watching.
Oh, that scene, dude! It's just that scene. Everyone knows that scene.
Literally just shaking, so terrified,
bro,
and I'm
just
like, God,
right into your soul,
movie.
bro. The pit of your stomach just falls out. Yeah,
that's such a good scene. Much, and I love it so much.
Yeah, there's also a lot of like great storytelling that happens in that movie that unless you really watch it or kind of know to look for it, like you miss it. Like on the wall, like there's the missing picture, and you can see where the cross used to hang on the wall. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like there's a ton of foreshadowing. Obviously, the water glasses is like the Chekhov's rifle, I guess. But there's a lot of great storytelling, and that I think Shyamalan, it's one of his strengths, which I think we'll get to. But
100%. No, he's it's great. And then The Sixth Sense is just like, that one was like one of the best because it was just like such the mind fuck of like, you get done with it and you're like, wait, he's a ghost the entire time. Like I
need to go watch it again. That was the first when I saw The Sixth Sense. The first thing I thought was I need to go watch it again. Yeah, exactly,
because you're like, oh my god, he doesn't talk to anybody but the kid the entire time. But the way the movie is shot and edited and the story is told, you never notice that no one responds to him or talks to Bruce Willis except for the kid. It's insane, dude. Like the way he was able to pull that off like that is just bonkers. And then I actually had another one written down. I think we were talking a little earlier before we started recording. We were texting about stuff. I can't remember if you said you had or had not seen this one. The Village.
Oh yeah, I've seen The Village. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, with Bryce Dallas Howard. I think that was her first one she did with him because she's done a couple with him now. Yeah. I've only seen that one once, and I didn't hate it. I didn't. It's lower than Signs and Sixth Sense, obviously, but like out of his other ones, I was like, I kind of like this twist of like the monsters are actually the elders of the town, like the town committee to keep them in, and then it's like, no, this is modern day, like, and stuff like that's what they're protecting them from. Like that really hit for me, like growing up when I saw it and stuff. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one?
So The Village is probably the one I've seen the second most of his films. Signs is probably the first because it's by far one of my favorite. I've always loved Aliens, like Fox Mulder, dude. I wanted to be in the FBI because I thought that special agents could do the X-Files thing. Like I thought that was a thing. So.
Criminal Minds and the X-Files is why I went to school for psychology. Psychological statistics is why I did not get further into psychology, but
I just wanted to go to Quantico and then go to the X-Files. Anyway,
man, come on, man. Let's fucking go.
Anyway,
where is he?
With The Village, I felt like with The Village, and I think this kind of is where M. Night Shyamalan kind of like sabotages himself. Is The Village, the twist almost cheapened the first part of the movie in some ways, because it's like the first part is like, oh man, okay, it's the because she like kills that one, and so she's blind, so she doesn't know, but they're dead obviously, and it's just a person, and so then but then it's like, oh well, why didn't any planes fly over? Oh well, they made a deal that no planes would ever fly. Okay, really though, and it's just like, and then you go back and you're like, like all this stuff, and you're like, okay, that. But if you had left it to where like she kills that person and then she walks in the woods and the movie's over, you're like, oh my gosh, she just killed one of the elders and didn't realize it. Who knows if she ever gets out?
She has no idea.
That would have been fine.
Yeah,
that would have been fine. Exactly. I would have been fine with any, because that's basically how she just walks to like a highway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
she gets across. She gets over the wall, and then like a car pulls up, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "What the fuck is that noise?" Like, because she's blind. She's like, "What the fuck is that noise?" And he's like, "You mean my car?" And she's like, "Oh, that's,
and so you're just like,
and like, that's a fair point. Like, I forget. Again, I've only seen it like once or twice, like a long time ago. I forget the like. Oh yeah, they just agreed to never fly planes over there and stuff, and it's like, the fuck, no, like no, that's not how that works. Like
at least with Signs, you're like, this is absolutely supernatural, given your own personal feelings. There's no objective hard evidence that aliens are among us or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, hey, this is a sick invasion story, and the suspense is very real, and the stakes feel very high. You know what I mean? Like this guy's already suffered loss. You know, like and like it was a great film.
Dude, do you ever? What do you think about that? What do you think about that theory that it's like one of those like after the credits like continuing story kind of a theory where like what do you think of the theory about a lot of people are like, well, why would the aliens show up if they're like if water just completely fucks them up? Like why would aliens show up and like we're 70% water? Like why would they just show up like raw dogging our atmosphere with like no equipment and stuff to like protect them from that?
Yeah.
And like I don't know where people are pulling this from, but I remember seeing a theory that was like those aliens that are showing up to see what's going on are like basically like the first wave like slaves that they like the alien race, like they've taken over another planet already and they use them as pawns to be like, y'all go check this place out.
Like the Roman army, right? Exactly, like the conscripts from the villages. We'll test their defenses.
We can see everything that's going to happen when we actually get down there. Like, we'll know, like, okay, so they got this H2O stuff everywhere. That's bad for y'all. We know we're close to y'all, so that might be bad for us. So we'll be sure to put the suits on. Like, I don't know where somebody pulled that from, but I've seen that a couple times. I'm like, that makes this movie so much scarier.
It's already a good movie.
And it's already fucking scary with
but
the
they
fucking
definitely
knife.
Feel like scouts, dude, you know, because they're like
exactly.
They
and the way they're like,
they move quickly, they like have just really one short range weapon, you know, they've got the little mist or whatever, like they definitely feel like
they can't figure out
observe and report.
They can't figure out a doorknob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know how doorknobs work.
Thumbs, dude.
No opposable thumbs, and they're like, what do we do? And then you with a knife looking at them.
Curse these penguin hands with claws!
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, and so it's like, so I love that movie because like even like the like theories about it's like, fuck, that actually adds a lot to it.
Definitely.
I'll tell you what right now though, you know what movie I hate?
What's that?
The Happening. The Happening. Oh my god, that movie is rough.
So
and the worst part is, have you seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, I know you've seen that because we both have. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, like honestly, since Devil. I think the elevator one.
Okay.
Which is fine. It's like the twist comes at the end, and you're like, okay, like
was it the old lady?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's the trailer basically. Yeah.
It's the fucking old lady, and you're like it's obviously not this fucking dude who like obviously looks like and is acting like the devil. It's this old lady who's just in there the whole time. Like, great. But The Happening.
Okay.
That movie, it's just the worst part about it is it's just not that good. It just doesn't hit. The concept is cool. It's like the plants are like taking back over because like the environment and stuff like cool. It's like you could say it's a whole
humanity
thing. Humanity
is a virus, right? That's like the trope.
Like a whole
Mother
climate
Nature
change
is
thing. Yeah.
Mother Nature's
super
reclaiming.
Fucking rad. Love man versus nature story.
Definitely.
Like
Captain
love
Planet,
that kind of stuff.
You know?
Love that shit.
Yeah.
The problem is the execution, and the problem with the execution is not only that, you know, Zooey Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg are like super weird, and they're acting weird, they talk weird, they say stuff weird, and like everything is just kind of, there's just something kind of off about it the entire time. The reason is his explanation for that. I remember, somebody maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember seeing an explanation that M. Night Shyamalan wanted to have the feel of like a Hitchcock kind of movie and dialogue, and like
so
back
very
and forth.
Stilted and like
so very stilted, very clear and like
delivery.
Weird manner of delivery and stuff like that. So that's why everything is so weird, and it seems to have just missed the mark because it's just like, what are they even doing? Like what, like from top to bottom, that movie, like the only cool thing about that movie is the concept. The concept is awesome.
Right, which has been done before, right? It's like it's just kind of a unique.
Yeah. So man versus nature is one of like the first out of like, it's like man versus man, man versus God, man versus nature. That's like the first three stories that's the first stories we ever got when we started writing stories, you know. So it's like that's cool and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, and like the whole thing with the bees and stuff, like, oh yeah, bees are dying, blah 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 blah, and also because that's what's actually going to happen in about 20 years. Get ready, guys. But you don't have to talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the way I hate it that they like, that's the reason why. It's like, why are they being weird? And it's like, It doesn't have anything to do with the movie and like the plot or anything like the story. It's just like, well, I wanted it to have this kind of a feel, and they just completely missed the mark from top to bottom on like giving it that stilted, like Hitchcockian, like kind of flavor to it and stuff. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think I could like this movie any less than I already did, and now I do. So like, he's got some big hits and he's got some big misses. Is the point I'm trying to illustrate.
Yeah. So the thing with The Happening for me is number one is like when you try and be a Hitchcockian film, the problem is that people are going to compare you to Hitchcock. And like, dude,
like, what are you doing?
Why would you do that to yourself? I don't understand. like, so there's that already. You set the bar so exceptionally high, dude. Like
it's
the
so
king
funny.
of twists. Like, so for me, like The Happening was very gratuitous on Shyamalan's part because it's like, number one, dude, what editor on the planet is like, you want me to edit in trees waving in the breeze? You want me to edit in a field of grass waving in the wind? Like, why? And that's them attacking. It's what? You want me?
What?
So like, what is happening here? You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many pictures of plants blowing in the wind that are threatening, you know, and you're just like, what? One time, just show it to me one time, dude. And then just make the noise and I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And number two, it was
you're
like,
right.
Guys, let's sit in a room and think about different ways we can have people kill themselves, dude. And it would look so cool if someone like took a knitting needle. And you're just like, okay, man, like it's a little over the top, dude. Because one of his big things, like that I think Shyamalan does very, very well is like show, don't tell. And it's like, as he kind of moves deeper into his movies, like The Sixth Sense had zero tell until the very end, you know, like I see dead people and you're a dead person, you know, like, and then kind of as he gets later on, he's like, it almost feels like he's watering it down, which I don't want to give him too much credit and be like, well, he's just such an auteur that you just can't understand unless he like breaks it down for you. But it's like, also it's like, man, definitely like you used to do a much better job of just being like, here's a shot, absorb this shot. You better take a look at everything pretty well because I put things in the shot for a reason. Yeah. You know, and like
he used to be very Kubrick, like Kubrick.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He would have like a shining Kubrick kind of vibe to him and stuff. Like I completely agree with that. Yeah, and The Happening, you're 100% correct. It's how do we just blow people's minds?
I'm such a good movie maker. Shit. I can put in shots of trees blowing in the wind and people will like it because I'm in like Shyamalan.
Yeah, they'll eat it up. Like, no,
I'm gonna make it Hitchcockian. What are you doing? That's too many things to do at one time.
Yeah, man, because you know Hitchcock, he always had those sweeping landscape shots of trees because he, you know, never wasted. He never wasted a minute of screen time, and that was important to him because you know.
I mean, there were moments in that movie where like they go to that house and that dude just blows that other dude off the porch, bro. Like, okay,
like that makes sense. Like doing something like that, like. Like a couple times, not like the knitting needle getting blown up off the porch, like all this crazy stuff. Like it's like doing a couple, drop it, the guy, the lawnmower and stuff. Like do a couple of those to and like it's like okay, we know now that people do fucked up shit once the chemical or whatever the hell gets in their brains, and they're like, I gotta take care of myself.
You're paying these actors millions of dollars, dude. Show us their reaction, bro. Yeah. Why are you showing me? Why are you showing me trees moving when you're paying Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel, dude? Like, I don't understand that.
Thing, I know a lot of people got like really turned off to Zooey Deschanel like after this movie because they were like, she is so flat and boring, and it's like he told her to be. Yeah. Like it's not her fault. She was listening to the direction of the director and writer of the movie. He made this mistake, not her. Like she like watch The New Girl. You know she got range, bro. She up and down. She's a pretty overall stagnant character, but like the heartbeat moment, like the like heartfelt moment, she hits just fine. The comedic one, she hits just fine. And like movies like that, she's great in Elf. Like like you know what I mean. Like it's not her. It's definitely not her. Mark Wahlberg, whatever, he's fine. Like he was flat, and it was like he gives it a little bit more sometimes. Like it's
sometimes that dude just phones it in, bro.
Sometimes
he just plays Mark Wahlberg.
Sometimes you just gotta get that paycheck.
Science teacher in cinema. That's all I know.
Oh my god, right? And it's like sometimes Mark, it's like, could we get some Marky Mark going again? Like it's like you were like all about it, like with Marky Mark. Like I could go for some of that energy in your film sometimes.
No doubt.
But we'll see. All right. So we love and hate M. Night Shyamalan. It's established now. I feel like we're pretty well versed in M. Night. So we're gonna get into Trap here for a little bit. So Rotten Tomatoes, we got the scores here. We got critic scores 55%, which is that sweet spot of just right down the middle. which is kind of how I feel.
Yes. Positive on the positive side.
Yeah, it's 5% more than completely neutral, so
exactly,
that's not bad. The audience score 65, so a little bit more. The audiences liked it a little bit, which is pretty standard. That's usually how Rotten Tomatoes goes.
Yeah, it was kind of a return to form for him in some ways. I feel like
it did feel like that, and that's part of the reason why I was like, I don't think I can say this is just a bad movie. Like if this, like part of my thing is with it is like, and obviously we'll get a little more deep into it, but like, if this wasn't an M. Night Shyamalan movie, it didn't have his name on it, and it was just a movie that some guy made, I would be like, that ain't bad. That's a decent movie. Like if it was if it was somebody's like directorial debut for like full blown like high production film, I would be like, that's solid. I can't wait to see more. Yeah. The fact that it's M. Night, it's like, okay, bud, a little bit like, all right, which is
before we move on to Trapped, I want to ask you one more thing about M. Night. In your opinion, how you feel about his directorial style? How do you feel about his self inserts?
I don't hate it. I get it. Okay, you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
I was I mean, honestly, when he pops up in this one, I was like, oh, there he is. like I knew he was gonna be in it at some point. Yeah. I was like, oh, like, oh, there he is. Like, he's the uncle. Like, which we'll talk about more later, actually.
Yes, we will. But, I'm sure.
Yeah, we definitely will. But I was like, oh, okay, cute, fun. Like, there he is and stuff. So, like, I honestly, I don't really care. I think it's like Stan Lee. Like he's in every Marvel movie that's ever been made, even if briefly. Like, and I'm like, it's just a fun little Easter egg.
I definitely feel like they've gotten more gratuitous. Like you go from Signs where he's just, you only see his like back and like 1/4 profile, and then in The Village you just see his reflection in the TV, and then it's just like now he's like full blown guild actor.
He's got lines. Yeah, he got lines now, bro.
Like
you're right. It has gotten a little. Okay. A little self-serving. I just wanted to establish that
before,
it's definitely gotten self-serving.
I don't mind it either, but it definitely has gotten like, talk about self-serving.
It's gotten worse over time for sure. Yes. Yeah, talk about self-serving. Yeah,
okay, so 55%, 65%.
5%. Yeah, and then IMDb, as always with IMDb, 6.2, right in the middle. I've hardly ever had a movie that I've talked about one way or another that is not between 6.0 and 6.9. They're almost always right in the middle. So that's
at least
IMDb.
We moved into the D- territory.
Yeah, exactly. That's IMDb. Every movie on the face of the planet is a D-, like except for the Citizen Kanes and the Sixth Sense. It's like
Empire Strikes Back 7.8.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I have no idea.
I mean, but like shit, probably like it's insane. It's insane. And then Metacritic 52 from their critics there, and their user 5.6. So right on the money for Metacritic. Pretty neutral.
Seriously mixed. Some people really enjoyed it. Some people really didn't. And more people enjoyed it than not, it seems.
It seems like Metacritic, like the critics from Rotten Tomatoes and the critics on Metacritic usually are pretty in line. It's the audiences and like the user scores that are like usually pretty different. The users on Metacritic are hard on movies.
Well, there's no reason to review bomb this either or anything. You know what I mean? It's not like one of the actors is like embroiled in some scandal or something.
There's no Mel Gibsons in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh Hartnett is as far as we know, a perfectly lovely man just trying to get back into Hollywood after he took a pretty long hiatus. And I think he did a really good job. I liked him in this movie. So
he was believable.
He was believable. I thought he did a good job. Saw a lot of reviews that said he sucked, and I was like, I disagree. I would say he was like, could you cast someone better? Sure, anybody could cast somebody better. Any time, whatever.
Yes,
doesn't matter.
M. Night had a vision for who he wanted, and I feel like he got his guy. Yeah,
I feel like he got his guy too. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh, for this one. All right, so then we're going to do the good quote, bad quote. My favorite part is always, I just always love it. All right, so we got good quote. This is Lindsay Barr for the Associated Press. She said, quote, "We keep wanting Shyamalan to somehow give us The Sixth Sense or Signs again. Trap is not either of those. This is a popcorn movie with a surprising turn from an underrated star, and ultimately, it's a pretty fun time at the theater," end quote. Yes, everything we talked about. We love Sixth Sense. We love Signs.
As a fellow
Josh
millennial
Hartnett.
Lindsay Barr, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I was like, yes, Lindsay, I'm definitely using this one because you're right.
Yep.
And then we got a guy over here, Adam Graham for Detroit News. He said, quote, "A silly jumble of half ideas that confounds at every turn. Shyamalan usually waits for a twist ending to topple his movies, but this time he's off the rails right from the very start." End quote. He said usually it's like, yeah, you watch an M. Night Shyamalan movie and you get to the end and it's like, oh, the twist makes up for everything. And he was like, this movie sucked as soon as it started. Like,
wow, dude.
That's the vibe I got from that, right? Like, off the rails from the moment it starts. Jesus.
Detroit off the man. Detroit must be rough out there, bro. Can't even enjoy a popcorn flick, bro.
Adam, baby.
It's the end of summer, dude. This is the worst time to release a movie, bro. Like,
Adam, who hurt you? Are you okay? That's why I love the bad reviews, because it's always
your dad work for WB or something, bro?
Exactly. I love the bad reviews are so much fun because it's always like, who hurt you and what can we do to fix this? You are not okay right now. Like, you're so mean. Like, it's the best.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, like, The Sixth Sense, dude, when your first movie gets 2 Academy Award nods, like, of course you're going to be chasing that forever, dude. And be chasing it forever, you know, and you really lose a piece of that magic when that's kind of your goal, I feel like.
100%.
Like, yeah. But okay.
No, there's no doubt that you're gonna fucking lose some of it. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
you can't. How could you not? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't know. Should we just jump right into the self-service thing?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay,
so I guess the premise of the movie, for those of you who say right? So there's this R&B singer. Dad is taking his daughter to the concert. There's a lot of police there. Turns out they're looking for a serial killer. The dad is the serial killer. Through a Rube Goldberg series of events, he eventually is captured, and then he reveals that he has gotten away. Basically, we'll go into more detail, but basically the story is like he is about to be captured. He gets out of it. Like, all this stuff kind of just happens for him, and then he gets away. Still,
I saw one review, one negative review that was like M. Night Shyamalan shows us the meaning of white straight male privilege.
Dude, I mean, that's probably the scariest thing about this whole thing, bro.
Yeah, it's insane.
How many times did you think to yourself, I probably could have got away with that too. If I was just
exactly. I was like when I first read that review, I was like, at first I was like, oh, okay, like, all right, like, and then I was like, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, you know, the person who wrote this review is making a pretty fucking good point now that I'm like kind of looking at how the movie went down and stuff. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's dive into the self-service. So the R&B singer.
Lady Raven is her name in the movie.
Night callback.
Yeah, right. So I was like, when the movie started, it starts off like with one of the songs and stuff, and I was like, damn, this is actually kind of like
it's a bop,
like
dude.
this is like, like I'm getting into this, and like, and stuff, and like all like the whole so there's lots of the songs from it's literally a concert for this person, so it's like an entire thing, obviously.
It's like Taylor Swift. Have you ever seen a Taylor Swift concert? That's what it reminded me of.
You mean like when I was there? Yo.
Oh, sick. That's right. I forgot you went. Yeah.
And it was so lit,
litty, bro.
It was lit. Yeah. It had this vibe for sure, where it was like it was just like it was super flamboyant, like lots of stuff going on, like very much Eras tour energy, like is what the point was.
Kendrick is the same way, dude.
Yeah,
his concert is the same way. Big screens showing all the close-ups of the dancers and him. You know what I mean?
You know what
I mean? Like,
whole full production, costume changes like crazy.
Yeah, like when the lights came, when all the phone lights came out, I was like, yep, this is exactly.
And they had the wristbands that lit up and stuff. That was literally at the Eras tour. They were like, hey, put this wristband on, and then like they were doing stuff like you could see. It was like making hearts based on where you were sitting and stuff.
That's awesome.
So it was doing shit like that.
Yeah.
Long story short, the actress is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, who is an up and coming.
I mean, if Hollywood isn't filled with nepotism,
musician. Yeah, this is just like.
Does that make it feel like a commercial to you in some ways?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I liked the movie a lot more until I came out because I forget what the name of the art, or like her name as an artist is, but it's one word name. It's like Sade. It's like one of those where it's like just Sade. It doesn't have Shyamalan at the end of it.
Right.
But like when you go and like I was like listening to a couple of songs, I was like, damn, like she's pretty good. Like this is not bad. But then like I was like about the artist, I was like, where'd she come from? Like how did he find her and stuff? And it like literally says on Spotify about the artist, like the second or third sentence is like daughter of M. Night Shyamalan and his wife, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's interesting. And it's like, did he write this entire movie so she could have a platform to release this album? Because it's all songs written and performed by this artist. Like she wrote all the songs, she like made all the songs, and like I'm not saying that they're bad. I really like the first song that is played in the movie. It's like Down on You or like something like that, like something like that. Like it's solid. I highly recommend it. Like whether you like the movie or not.
I mean, dude, the features were good in the songs too.
The features are good. And stuff. Fucking Kid Cudi. Fucking Kid Cudi shows up and is a feature in one of the songs, and it's really good. Actually, like it's insane. Like, and I was like, damn, like she's good. Like I'm gonna like follow her, like and like be like, hey, let's go.
What if he was like, listen, I'm just gonna throw you a concert. I'm gonna pay all these extras to be there, and you give a real concert, but also I'm gonna be filming a movie while we're there.
Yeah, but also we're doing a movie and stuff, and it's like what's it about? And he's like, it's really fucked up, and you're gonna be in a really couple scary scenes and stuff. Okay, babe. Mwah, gives her a kiss on the forehead and goes to the writing room and starts writing. You know, but like I'm not gonna lie, that did turn me off a little bit to the movie because is that not just like the definition of nepotism? Like, you Basically. Know what I mean?
I mean, like, I will say, like, for the most part, it was either just her hooks or it played her music in the background while other characters were talking.
Yes. So like, it's not like here's a whole fucking scene of just one of the songs and her dancing and doing the
definitely could have been way worse.
It could have been like so much worse. It could have been so much worse, no doubt, no doubt about it. But the there is a little bit of a self-service ish, like bit. Okay,
which again,
this is
I feel like has slowly gotten more and more prevalent kind of in his work, you know.
But don't worry, he plays her uncle in the movie.
So
and that's
weird.
how they are able to get her on stage and backstage to like do whatever.
So I didn't know that it was his daughter until after I had seen the movie. And so, you know,
I was literally like listening, like driving to like,
why would you say uncle, dude? Why wouldn't you just be like, I'm her manager or I'm her dad? Exactly. If you really, you know what I mean? Like,
that's part of it too. It's like, why are you making this decision to be like, to tell the audience I'm related to this girl? Like, I'm not exactly how I'm related.
Brother, actually. What?
Exactly. What the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? Just be her manager.
Yeah,
just be her manager. Like, it's like that part. That drove me crazy, right? Because I was like, I had a couple errands to run, like after I got out of the movie, and I was like, I just like put on the album because I was like, I really like that first song and stuff, and I was just like cruising along, and I was like, okay, yeah, she good. She's, you know, she ain't no chaperone, but like it is what it is. Like I was like, she bopping, like it's good, like it's fun, like I'm and stuff, and then like. And then I started like getting all the stuff together, investigating like and stuff. And I was like, well, I want to learn more about that artist and stuff. And it's like, but damn, it's his fucking daughter. So like that does take me out of it a little bit for sure. Cause it's like you're M. Night Shyamalan. You can make any movie you want because you have the money and people will let you do anything you want. You also have your own production company at this point. Your daughter is an up and coming R&B artist. She's very talented. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Did you write this movie with the intent of getting people, because like all of her top songs are the ones from this movie. Her top song right now is the one with Kid Cudi. The one that I like the most, that's the first one that's played, is not even in her top 5, and that's the best one in my opinion. But it's all from this like music for the movie trap like album that just came out as the movie came out and stuff. Again, I'm not knocking the hustle necessarily because she is genuinely really good. I actually really like the music and stuff because I was thinking
selling like a soundtrack to a movie, brilliant, dude. Why would you not? And then you own all the rights to that music for that movie, basically. You know what I mean? Like, totally, dude.
It totally makes sense. But when you first hear that, like when you first come across,
it does feel a little
jarring. Like it's a little dirty. It's a little slimy. It feels a little slimy
but then again,
for sure.
It's Hollywood, bro. You know what I mean?
But like it's Hollywood, and like Hollywood's fucking slimy as shit. So like it is what it
Nicolas Cage changed his last name for a reason, dude.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
there's lots of people who are very closely related to lots of people that you would never know because because when you become a part of SAG, you have to have an original name that's never been used before. So it's like, cool, I'm gonna drop my obvious family name. And like, they're getting a lot more casual about it. Like Kirk Douglas, they're like the Douglases, they're getting a lot more, they're not keeping the last name Douglas anymore. They're changing it up to like, because people are a little annoyed by it at this point.
Exactly.
And like,
is it all just the same 4 families?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Probably. Like it's the 1%.
Yeah,
it's the 1%.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Are they white or are they Will Smith? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's insane. What I will say, Jaden Smith's album is actually pretty good. There's some good songs on
his acting. Could use some work.
His acting isn't good. He needs to just keep doing the music. There's some on I can't even remember the name of the album, but there's some like Lost Boys is one of the songs on one of his albums. That's a fucking good ass song.
I can never scrub After Earth from my brain, dude. That's all.
No, exactly. I'll never forget the memes. After
M. Night
Earth.
and M. Night and Will Smith and Jade, you should all be ashamed of yourselves.
Which is insane. I forgot, or maybe just genuinely never knew. And I was like, I need to look at I know he's done a bunch of stuff, and I'm like forgetting some. Totally forgot that he did that one, and he cast Will Smith and Jaden Smith.
The whole movie's a twist that gives itself away in the title.
Yeah, because it's
they're on
after Earth.
Yes.
And the twist is they're on Earth.
Exactly.
I can think of a single movie that does that twist a lot better. Do you know what it is? Yep. Written by Rod Serling of the Twilight Zone, who created the fucking gotcha twist and this kind of thing. Like, you're telling me you can be better than Rod Serling, M. Night? You think
Alfred Hitchcock?
And Alfred Hitchcock?
We put a lot of bars.
Why don't you just do what you do and stop trying to be better than other people? Like, that's the thing.
Exactly.
And in defense of this movie, I feel like he goes back, regardless of the self-service with his daughter and stuff. Again, her music is good. If you don't watch the movie, listen to the album. It's really good. Literally just type in trap movie on Spotify. It'll be the first thing that comes up. And it's really good. I showed Austin. I was like, what do you think of this song? I played the one that I like. And she was like, okay, like what? And I was like, it's from the movie. Like, I just went and watched. She was like, okay, like, it's a bop. Like, it's good. Like, it got everything you want in it. So regardless of that, I think this movie, he does go back a little bit to form. The problem is his form is we expect to have like a major twist by the end, and the whole time I was waiting for that twist, and spoiler alert, there is no major groundbreaking or glass shattering twist, which honestly, in my mind, for me, was insane. I was like, what? There's no really big this is what's actually when she's talking to him when Lady Raven when Lady Raven's in the car and she's talking to him like his mom and stuff, I was like, oh my god, I was like, oh my god, is the twist gonna be that he is getting beat by his mom right now and none of this has ever happened and this is like him disassociating what he could be and stuff, because you know how M. Night is. I was like, is this gonna be a snow globe situation? Is this gonna be a dream situation? I was kind of getting mad, but I was like, okay, here comes the twist, and stuff, and then but no, it wasn't. She was just playing into.
So I thought the twist was that it was his wife that left the receipt. She's the one that caused the slip up. Basically, that was the twist to me. That's what I'm saying. That was you didn't find that out until he's like, "How did I? I don't know how they found it." And she's like, "I left the receipt. I tore it so it looked like an accident." Because he was I never made a mistake or whatever.
Yeah,
and exactly. I was like, because that you're trying to do that too as the viewer. You're like, this guy's so meticulous, dude. He folds his napkin a certain way. You know what I mean?
Napkin at the concession stand when he folded that, I was like, okay, it was like they say it, so I'm not trying to diagnose as someone who's not trained to and stuff. He's OCD and they show you that even when he gets her out of the bathroom and he fixed the towel real quick and stuff and then goes and stuff, I was like, okay, cool, he is that meticulous. It's nice that he does. I think Josh Hartnett does a really good job of making sure to hit those beats in a really casual way, the
other thing too is when they're and this is again I think goes back to Shyamalan's strength of show don't tell, is they don't mention that until the FBI profiler is the one who says it. And number two is like when they're coming into the neighborhood and they're driving the limo and she's like, let me go visit your house, Riley. His yard is the only yard that doesn't have leaves in it. Every other yard on those shots coming in have those yellow leaves all over except for his. And it is immaculate. It is immaculate. And that's what I'm saying, dude. That is never pointed out in the whole film overtly. Nope. And that is what Shyamalan, it's those background, those real quick, blink and you miss it, details that tell a story under the story. And
completely miss that. Yeah. Just like, that's insane. Like, that's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, I love. And like that's why, and that like that's the thing. It's like I knew you were gonna hit me with some shit like that. I was like, I'm on the fence about this movie, and I know Drew loves M. Night. Like has a lot of appreciation for M. Night, like you've already said and stuff. And I was like, I know that there's stuff that I missed that if I watch it again, I will probably like it more, honestly. Like I'll like okay, I know how this ends now, let me rewatch it. This one I feel like with all M. Night, you know, like it demands a second viewing and stuff. You know, like sometimes
I can wait till it comes to streaming though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not dying to go back to the theater to see it. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like The Happening. I
went and saw in the theaters. Signs I saw in the theaters again too, man.
I wish I was old enough to have seen those in the theaters to be able to fully appreciate it like that. Like, but like The Happening, I've seen twice. I was like, I'm gonna watch it again just to be safe, and I was like, nope, this one's just not. This one's just not good. This one just doesn't work. But this one, I feel like could get better with like more viewings for sure. Because like I completely missed that. The leaves on the ground. That's so good. That's so fucking good.
The scenes when they're first coming into the neighborhood and it's just showing the limousine shots and it's just like cut after cut. Another scene too, dude. And this is what I was telling you at the end of explaining this scene to you. This is what I'll tell you. My one in the chamber that I had about.
Oh yes.
Okay, so the scene where the FBI profiler is talking to the wife and she's like, "Are you sure you don't want to come stay with them?" And she's like, "No, I'm going to stay here." And she leaves, and I told Laura, I was like, "Oh yeah, stay in your murder house with the murder tunnel," you know, like. And I was like, she must be staying for a reason, right?
Right.
So, but the scene where she puts the kettle on. And you can see that the kettle is extremely reflective. You can see the whole kitchen behind her, and you're like, "Oh, we're gonna see something."
I was like, I'm the only one here. If only they gave me a way to pause this so I could just look at everything. Like but
you don't see anything. I mean, you can't see anything. There's nothing moves or anything, you know. Like, and then it cuts. It pans back, like it pans back out, and it shows her, and then she gets up on the kettle, and then it comes in on her back, and you know, as the viewer, you're like, "Oh, he's right behind her, dude. He's right behind her." And then it cuts and there's nothing, dude. And you're like, "Oh, she's just standing there." And then he talks from the table in the dark. And you're like, "Oh my gosh, he is right there, dude."
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
This is what I think about Shyamalan, dude, is that he has like Spielberg level framing of like shots and cinematography, because like Spielberg, like he could tell a whole story of exposition in just one take and make it so interesting. And if he cut, it was for a good reason. And like, I feel like Shyamalan is the same way. Like when he wants you to notice something, he'll linger on a shot. He'll make it, you know, like, or he'll center on someone, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just, I think that he has that eye for storytelling where he's like, here's what the normies are going to get is what's right in front of them, what's in the foreground of the person telling the story. Here's the people that go watch it a second time or really have their eye out on the first rewatch, you know, like, but I feel like a rewatch could even maybe cheapen the film, because there are some things that definitely like break his way that you're just are so almost implausible, you know, like he grabs the dude's apron, the wallet's in there, the wallet has the card in it right on top, you know, like
super easy to find.
Dude, like come on, you know, like,
I mean, in that moment, I was like,
that's fine,
it's fine. It's like sometimes like happenstance is a part of life, so like it can add. Like he caught a lucky break. He's a piece of shit. He's a fucking murderer. He's the butcher. Yeah. But he catches a lucky break. Even bad guys catch a lucky break sometimes. Like it happens. But like, that scene with that kettle pot scene, we'll just call it the kettle scene. It like, I really love that. And like, you're 100% right, because like, that's exactly what Spielberg does. It definitely felt super Spielberg. And like, because I remember in college, I took Intro to Film. It's the only one that's offered at UTC is Intro to Film. It's the only one. And I took it, and like, long story short, the teacher would assign like, you're going to watch this American movie and do a report on it, and then you're going to watch this foreign movie and do a report on it. And she kind of like had a questionnaire about like what kind of movies do you like what have you seen, what have you not, and stuff and everything. And so she picked for me Close Encounters of the Third Kind because I actually hadn't seen it yet.
Oh, nice.
In college, and I hadn't seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is insane, right?
Wow,
like,
that is
anybody
insane,
who knows me, it's like it's insane.
That's crazy.
I have it. I now have it on VHS, and it's the best. It's the only way to watch it. It's the best way to watch it. And you want to watch the 4K one? Fuck you. That one sucks. The VHS way is the only way to watch it.
Criterion Collection, my ass, bro.
Yeah, fuck that. Steven Spielberg's not in the Criterion Collection because he is too snooty that he doesn't want them to have the rights to his distribution because he has his own distribution company and he can't fucking deal with it. He doesn't care. He wants to make the movies the way he wants to make them and not have their level, his level.
This is the man who made the fourth and fifth Indiana Jones movie.
Yes. Yes, he has a certain way that he wants to do stuff. I'm going to blame that on Disney, like not on him. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. His use of color in that scene, she's the only purple is the only like not natural color in that scene as well. So your eye is immediately just constantly drawn to it. And then it just pushes in so uncomfortably close.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're waiting to see him in the kettle. Like you're waiting to see his face.
You're waiting
like,
for it.
You know what I mean? Like
I've seen enough horror movies to know. There should be something there. It's not. He's behind her. He's not. Like, hey babe, or like whatever the fuck he says. It's like, whoa, holy shit, there he is. Like it's like a which I really like, and he does it really well. I actually have another example of when that's done wrong, something like that. But the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, go back to Steven Spielberg real quick. Oh yeah. That shot of Richard Dreyfuss and he's playing with the stuff, making the tower and stuff, making Devil's Tower and stuff. And behind him, you can't even really see the TV. You can't even really see the TV, but you can hear what the TV is saying. And it's talking about how people are flocking to Devil's Tower for some fucking reason and no one knows why. And he's building it and stuff. And like you were like, you're making Devil's Tower. He's making Devil's Tower. And then eventually he like turns around. It's something along the lines of like, he turns around to like get more materials or something. And like, it happens to be a shot of Devil's Tower. And he stops and he's like staring at it. And he's focus, and he's like, I need to go there and stuff. Like, and like, it's so good. I wrote that as like part of like how good Steven Spielberg was in that report and stuff. My teacher gave me a 95% on that paper because, and she said, she left a note, this would have been 100 if you would have cited your source of who noticed this moment in this movie. And I went to her and I was like, I noticed it. I can't source myself in my own paper. That was me. That's an original thought.
Zanga.com/Jacob Bat.
Exactly. I was like, do you want me to have a website and put this paper up so I can fucking cite my own? Like, I was like, are you kidding me? And she was like, okay, whatever. And like
peer review.
Exactly. Like she was like, I was like, I came up with that. I noticed that, bitch. Like, I know, like, I like movies. Like, I'm taking this class for a fucking reason. Like,
exactly.
And stuff. Right. And like, I was like, I know Steven Spielberg's style. Like, style. Like, I know what to look for and stuff. And it's like, she like kind of went back and forth with me. Not anything against her. She was a perfectly fine teacher and stuff, but she just like didn't believe me. And I was like, that's annoying. I let the 95 stand. Like, I'm not gonna argue. Yeah. Like, it was more like, this is the only thing you wrote on my paper is like why you took points off. And like, I just want to let you know, I did this. I seen that. I seen it like myself. Yeah. So go into the is something there or something not? Like a bad way to do that. I haven't seen the movie, but it's in the trailer, which is even more annoying. Because I did see the trailer. I was forced to when I went to see another movie. Like, you're forced to see trailers then, and it's like if I see a trailer in the movie while I'm waiting for another movie, that's okay. It's like part of the experience.
I wish they were actually at the end because they're called trailers. So
that's what they used to be. Yeah, they used to be like the end because the credits were at the beginning. The trailers were at the end, so the other way around. But now, marketing, advertising, PR.
I blame George Lucas.
I love him, but it's fine. Love what he's done for me. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, but it's one of the fucking. God, I'm not going to go on a whole rant about this. It's one of those terrible fucking movies. Not The Conjuring. The Conjuring one's good. It's one of those terrible movies about the Warren family, like the supernatural, like the paranormal investigators, the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. We used to sell their book all the time.
Yeah, I don't think it's Conjuring 2. It's definitely not 3 because this was before that. It's like one of the nun ones or maybe one of the one ones. Mm-hmm. But it's like she's in the basement. Lorraine is in the basement. Again, I'm not going to go on a whole tangent about how they suck and they were complete fraudsters and they were pieces of shit. It's fine.
Right.
Look it up. Look it up.
Yep.
It's not about this.
Do some research. Yeah.
This podcast isn't about
in the
that.
description below.
I can literally send you links to podcasts that talk about this that are really good. Like
link in the description below.
Haunted Objects podcast. It's really good.
There you go.
But regardless, it's like she's in the basement and there's a big old thing with a fucking sheet on it. She takes the sheet down. It's a mirror, and you're like, oh wait, there's nothing in the mirror. And then she hears something, and then she turns around, and there's nothing there. And then she turns around to the mirror again. There's nothing there. And it goes back and forth like that for fucking 10 seconds. Or something like a ridiculous amount of time.
Just way too long.
And then she finally turns around, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like that's insane. Like so there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. Like in a movie, and M. Night fucking nailed it. It's there. We know it's there. And now we're getting it on the third beat. Again, comedy comes in threes. Horror comes in threes too. Comedy writing and horror writing.
Very similar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in a completely objective sense.
It's about building suspense. Exactly. And that's what I feel like he did in this movie. So like, remember, I'd not seen a trailer for anything. I'm sitting next to Laura. We're a handful of people in the theater. We're watching it, and he's like noticing all these police, and then he's like, "I'm going to go to the bathroom, stay right here." And I was like, "Oh," I lean over to Laura, and I'm like, "Oh, someone's going to kidnap his daughter," And so I'm thinking we're going to get like a prisoner situation, cool. Like that movie with I think it was Prisoners, Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, where they kidnap his daughters, and so you know what I'm talking about.
God, what a good movie! Oh yeah,
very good flick.
Denis Villeneuve, come on.
Yeah, and Paul Dano's the bad guy, the guy who tortures and stuff. So good. Such a good film.
Quote unquote bad guy. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. And so that's what I thought it was going to be like that. Like he's not really a bad guy,
cool.
But someone takes his kid, and it turns out he is like a Dexter type serial killer, and he just he kills this guy because they took his daughter. But obviously it wasn't that. But I like how he built tension where he's like noticing all of these police, and you're like, why is he noticing police? And you're like, oh, he's a firefighter. Okay, so maybe it's like a safety thing. He's just like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and so
honestly,
he did a good job of building tension. Oh, you're good, and diffusing it. You're like, why is he? Oh, okay. Then like when the trap door opens, you're like, oh, he's gonna go, because at that point you're like, oh, he's gonna go in the trap door.
He goes to the bathroom and he's looking at the guy on his phone.
Yeah, exactly. He's checking on him, which is I feel like another OCD thing. Like you got to constantly check on him.
Oh yeah, he's checking on him constantly, and he's got that weird like RAM app or whatever the fuck it is, like which is super creepy.
Some kind of lock or something.
Yeah, it's like super creepy. Like the design of the app, like the graphic
really
designers
weird.
and
I wish I could have stopped and seen what the code he typed in, because I bet you the letters on the code correspond to something
weird. It's
probably like butcher spelled out or something.
Something weird as fuck like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Austin
nice.
Just brought me another beer.
What a boss.
Brought me another beer. Love you. Drew says hi.
Gangster.
Hi.
What's up?
She says hi as she rolls her eyes. So I text her and I'm like, can you bring me another beer?
I gotta go tuck my kids in like 20 minutes anyway, so we'll have like a quick break real quick. A little time for you to roll some ads,
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
Literally just go tuck them in and kiss them on the forehead. But
hell yeah, dude.
But no, and so I thought he did it in this movie. He did a lot of realistic ways, like his daughter being like, "No, Dad, why would we do that? We're not supposed to go down there." Like my 10-year-old, 100% would say that to me. Be like, "No way, dude, we're not doing that, Dad."
You raised me better than that.
And so like he diffuses that tension, but then he kind of builds it back because he's like still looking at it, he's still thinking about it, and so I really, for sure. And I liked too how like there were scenes where people would disappear out of the frame, and then it shows like just his mom is the old. You find out it's his mom, but the old woman is just standing there, and he's not noticing any other person there.
Yeah,
and then M. Night Shyamalan uses that again when he walks out onto the roof, and he doesn't see anybody there because he's not even like focused on it, dude. Like he's not even thinking. He's just thinking like, I'm escaped. I'm outside. My next step. Yeah. And then when he cuts back to the cop comes around the pillar, and then it cuts back to Josh Hartnett, and he's like,
when he's leaving,
and then it cuts back, and there's like cops all over the place up there.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them, because that was my first thought with that scene. I was like, how the fuck is there no police on the top of this building? They have a whole SWAT thing. Because like part of it too was I was like in the movie, I was like, I know what the movie's about because I saw the trailer, and stuff. And I was like, they're saying that's what the trap is and stuff. And I was like, I totally feel for him, even if he isn't actually the killer. I was like, maybe the twist is it's not him in some way, like and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it's hard to go into an M. Night movie without thinking that there's some twist, and stuff that like where it's like what you think is not what you think, and stuff. And I was like, I would also be like, why the fuck are there so many fucking cops here right now? This is insane. Like I was like, And I was like, man, I like to go to concerts and like get my swerve on, like get some drinks going, do some dancing and stuff. If I went to the bathroom and there was like 50 cops lined up against the wall, I would be like, what's happening? Like, I'd be freaking out, dude. Like,
and he's like, hey man, what's going on, dude? You know, he talks to that guy.
I love Jamie, the dude.
Yeah, Jamie. I helped him.
That was the funny. I was walking out of the theater and then like I heard the cut and I was like, wait, there's a scene happening and stuff. That shit was so fucking funny. I love Jamie the character. He's like, what does he say? He's like, you're not squeamish, are you? And he's like, not really. Like sometimes and stuff. And he was like, I'm super obsessed with this butcher guy. Like he shows him the picture and stuff. And like, I loved that dude so much. Which was funny because it's actually very Jordan Peele, Get Out. Like his buddy that works at the TSA. It's like kind of that vibe and stuff.
It is.
But I don't see it as a ripoff. I think I see it as like honestly, like kind of like a nod to like that kind of a character who like and stuff. But yeah, that was just so fucking funny. Like just to derail real quick, dude. Just like he was so funny, dude. Oh my god, I helped him. I ain't ever helped anybody. Like, talking to anybody at work ever again. Like that.
He like gives him the box cutter and he's like, "You're gonna need this. You're hang on to this."
Exactly.
You know, he's like, "Be safe." What's going on, dude?
It's so fucking funny, dude. But like it is so interesting seeing like. I think you're 100% right with that, like building of suspense because well, you know, and like going back to Hitchcock and stuff. Like Hitchcock is he talks about like you've heard the Hitchcock like thing of like suspense with the bomb under the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I've heard that exactly.
Yeah. Like for anybody who doesn't know, the audience
is like, "There's a bomb under the table."
Yeah, it's like exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, if for anybody who doesn't know, it's like if there's a board meeting going on and a bomb just goes off and like kills a bunch of people, that's very jarring to see in an audience.
Absolutely.
Suspense is when you show that there's a bomb under the table and no timer. Like I think he specifically says like there's not a timer on it. You just like show that there's a bomb under the table, and then you cut back and forth from the bomb to the board meeting, and then it goes off at some point because then you got your whole Chekhov's gun thing. It's like, well, you know that there's a bomb, so it has to go off at some point.
And the audience is like, "There's a bomb!"
And like you're freaking out. It's like, what is that? It's a dramatic irony where it's like you know what's happening, but they don't. And
they're arguing about like last year's profits or whatever. Yeah, exactly. They're having like this very banal like a discussion.
Water board meeting. They're having like a boring ass meeting and stuff, but you're just like, oh god, and then it's like, why is there a bomb? Why is there a bomb for this boring ass meeting? What's the point? Like and stuff. Instead of just boom, a bomb goes off, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? It takes you from Hitchcock to Michael Bay. You know what I mean? Like there's
precisely.
Like are you doing Michael Bay, or are you doing fucking Hitchcock and stuff? And he does a really, really, really good job with all that stuff. This movie is more Hitchcock than The Happening.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And he almost makes you root for Josh Hartnett's character because you have this shared anxiety with him about trying to get out, and then like as you know, cis white males, hetero males, basically like. Dude, how many times have you walked up to someone in just a complete place and been like, dude, isn't that crazy? What's going on? And they just told you everything, basically. You know what I mean? They're just like,
when I worked at the news station, at the news station, and I had to.
I love your work for Channel 3, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, check it out. I guess. Like, I don't know where you can check it out.
Like in the description.
There's nowhere. I'm sure none of the stories are still there, but like maybe they use some of my B-roll, like in like up stories and stuff. Like, yeah, it was super easy. I'd have to go go to a place where like a house was being burnt down, or like there was like shots fired because I worked the night shift and stuff. And like I'm gonna go ahead and blow up my spotlight. I don't think anybody from Channel 3, and it doesn't matter like at this point, honestly, but like I'm never going back to the news. I would not try to talk to the people whose houses were getting burnt down. They're always like, try to talk to the family if you can and stuff. And I was like, I am not gonna talk to them. I'm only gonna talk to the officials here and be like, they wouldn't talk to me because they would always be like, yeah, of course they wouldn't, but like you have to try. And I'm like, but I definitely tried. I did not. I'm just gonna go ahead and blow up my own spot. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's so fucked. Like I hate that. But going up and talking to the cops, going up and talking to the firefighters and stuff, total like fucking cis white man with a fucking mustache in the South, and like it was just like I'd roll up and like I'd have my hair up, like I have long hair, but like I'd have my hair up, so like it wouldn't be like, oh, this fucking hippie pothead, like or anything like and stuff like that. They'd just be like, oh yeah, you work for the news, and they're like, well, I'll tell you as much as I can, but we're gonna do like a press release at some point, but like this is the basic details and stuff. You can send it to your guys there like that and stuff. And I was like, cool. And I was like, I like literally never had to show my badge to any of these people. I just had a halfway decent camera on a tripod and just would roll up and be like, so what's up? Like what do you want me to do? And they were like, all right, here's everything about this situation. And I was like, cool. And I'd take a couple shots, and then I'd be like, well, I'm gonna leave now. I literally, like, I have a good enough camera now, like that, like I've gotten recently, that like if I could walk up. I could walk up in my own car probably right now.
Nightcrawler situation on our hands.
I could go Nightcrawler. I could go fucking Nightcrawler, dude. I have a good enough camera now, like that, like is my own personal camera that I could walk up and be like, yeah, I'm with the news. Like, what's going on here? And they'd be like, oh yeah, this is everything that happened that we can tell you. They'll do a press release later. And I'm like, cool, sounds good. Like, and because like the press release, they send it to every news agency. Like, you don't need like, which one are you with? Like, they don't ask anything. Never showed my badge. My badge was always in my fucking pocket because I never needed it. Like, and then like that, and like that's part of this movie though.
It's 100%
insane, dude.
It is.
And it's like I hate it, but I think it like is part of the point of the movie.
Yeah. I think there's also social commentary there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, guess what? Also, these people, these fucking serial killers are most often white cis men. Like, so it's like, is there a problem there? Yes. You can do whatever you want. We're not going to question you that hard. But also, you're probably the person we should be looking for. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It's like, but it's so subtle. You know what I mean? Like, it feels super subtle. He literally, like, there was a lot of like happenstance when he's like, oh, just gotta go check on the coffee. You know what I mean? Like, check on the coffee, give me more coffee, as he walks through the entire fucking SWAT team and stuff. And then like he's like making coffee, and then the one cop is like, oh, do you guys have any more sugar? And he's like, oh yeah, like this guy, random name, should have set more out. Like, and he opens the drawer and there's just a whole thing of sugar right there. And he's like, oh, you can use my personal stash, and slides it over to him, and it's no problem. And he walks away and stuff. Like, I for a second I was like, it was like, obviously it's in like a sugar thing, and I was like, what if it's salt? Like, what if that it's salt and it starts to pick up? And the cop is like, that's salt. What do you mean this is your secret? Like, and the cop catches on it. I was like, I had that, but like that's part of the suspense building. I was like,
and then immediately,
what if he made a mistake? What if he made? And then he just walks right back through, throws the coffee away, pulls out the T-shirt, and walks back out into the crowd. And it's insane. It's like, that is good shit right there.
I do like how he was thwarted even up to the very end, where he's like, the only way out is through the backstage, and like as an audience member, that is revealed to you within the first like 20 or 25 minutes, you know, is that's the only way, only her personal crew gets out. And then I love how Shyamalan, like, he has characters whisper to each other, and Josh Hartnett is really trying hard to listen, and so you as an audience member is also like, oh, they're trying, are they saying something, you know, but like the music is like playing in the background, you know, and it's just like, and, you know, they're probably not saying anything to each other except like, hey, yeah, she's got leukemia, you know, like, let her do her thing or whatever, you know, like, but he's like, are they talking about me, you know? And so it's like, is the twist that the trap is actually at his house, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly. And like, see, I was kind of also like something that like once they got backstage, so when he the leukemia thing, when he like tells M. Night Shyamalan's character, the uncle, of the
Uncle Raven.
Pop star, Uncle Raven, Uncle Raven.
We call him Odin, I think.
Odin. So Odin, he tells Odin that that's amazing. Yeah. So Odin, he tells Odin, like, oh, like she had leukemia and she's recovering, and she's like, look at her, she's freaking out and like and stuff, like, oh, like she'd be the dream girl, so they can get backstage and stuff and everything, and like that ends up working, and everything, and like that's great and
My
stuff.
privilege.
But exactly. But then like that was one of the things that I was like, that was a suspense building thing, because I was like, who's gonna slip up and mention it to her?
Yeah.
She's like a 12 or 13-year-old girl. She's gonna go, she probably isn't gonna say this exactly. She's gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I have always been perfectly
healthy.
lies
like that. Yeah,
exactly, because he's able to do the like, he's able
let the
to
two
like
lives touch.
split.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Which I do have something to say about that in a little bit.
Okay.
There was a mistake in that regard, I think.
Okay.
But so he goes and like they go backstage and stuff. I thought part of the twist was like the Lady Raven like was like doing some weird fucked up thing, like some kind of like weird ritual or something, because there was so many moments of girls being way too drunk.
Oh yeah, when they're all like passing out and stuff.
He pushes the one girl down the stairs because she's too drunk. It's like clear. It's like her like girlfriend or friend or whoever like goes gets her water and stuff. And he like pushes her down to like try to get out the front door. That doesn't work. And then like while he's backstage and she's up there doing like the dream girl stuff, there's two more that come back and they're like fucked up.
Like
Don't get me wrong.
Out. Yeah.
I be drinking at shows. It's fun. Like, it's part of what you do. It costs a lot of money, but you budget for it. You know what I mean? Because it's like $10 for a fucking beer. It's ridiculous. But that's a whole different rant for a whole different podcast. But
indeed,
that's not the point. The point is, it's like that was happening a lot. And again, part of the twist of this one is like, and for me is like, is that what it is? Like, I was like, oh, is there some really fucked up shit going on? Like,
are we going to the supernatural here?
Yeah, like, is it gonna go weird? Is it gonna go super weird and stuff? And like, it didn't.
I thought they were just trying to get backstage. That's what I thought. Like, they were just like faking it, but then
exactly.
he like helps her kind of come back with the ice and everything.
Yeah, once they actually get into the like the medical tent, tent and stuff, like, it's like, oh no, this girl actually really fucked up. Like, she's not okay.
She's just dehydrated or whatever.
She really dehydrated. Like, had too much, like, took too many drugs, drank too much beer, like, whatever.
Locked her legs for 25 seconds.
Yeah, right. Like some shit like that. But like, that was like, and honestly, I feel like I'm liking this movie the more we talk about it, because like I feel like he knows that people expect like a hard twist, and that was like, and he was like, the biggest twist we're gonna get is his wife's the one that ratted him out, which is like set the stones to rat him out, which is such a, I mean, for lack of a way to better put it, it's a pretty basic fucking like reveal, especially for M. Night. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, so the whole time I was like, oh, it's this, it's that. It's like my suspense was going crazy, you know, but everything still pretty much logically made sense and stuff, and still worked in the parameters of like the world we are in.
Nobody made like a stupid decision, right? There wasn't a single point where somebody just made such a boneheaded decision. You were like, why would you ever do that as a rational thinking adult? You know,
exactly. Like, even when the I think the closest we get to that is when they're trying to go backstage and the SWAT guy's like, I have to check him.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then Odin is like, you know who I am. Like, come on. Like, he's with us. It's the dream girl thing. Like, he's fine. And he like thinks about it for a second and is like, all right, fine. Like, and stuff. He's like,
I thought that was the dude from Get Out at first. I was like, is that the
dude from right? But I think, but that's what's awesome is like, that's the closest like a like not unnamed character gets to making a stupid mistake like that. And it's still totally logical and totally reasonable. Oh yeah,
dude, the cynicism level of like, here we are, we're standing at this place, we're backstage. The chances of him being back here are so astronomically low.
Exactly.
1 in 3,000 or 6,000 or however many there were. You know what I mean? Like,
I love too. I did actually really think it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny in a way, like a sociological way, I guess. Like where it makes sense in terms of filmmaking, but it's also kind of funny in a sociological way, because it's like when he first notices that cops are like going up to 30s or 40s-year-old white men and like taking them away and stuff, it's at the top of the arena. And then like, so like cinematically, narratively, it's like, they're on the floor. They're getting closer and closer and closer, and like he has less and less time to escape and stuff. And like that makes sense and stuff. But also, it is kind of funny. It's like, well, this guy's a fucking fucked up criminal. He's definitely got the cheap seats. Like, so we're gonna start there and work our way down. And it's like, no, like, you know,
start at the floor where he can get out and then secure your way up. You know?
Exactly. The floor where people paid more and they have more privilege, which is what somebody would do. You have a profiler for the FBI who's like really good and is like said he is a well-to-do, smart, probably has OCD guy. He probably has floor seats for his daughter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he probably has floor seats if he's going to be at this show. But they're like, well, you know, these fucking criminals are always poor and stupid, so we're going to start up with the poor folk up top and work our way down. Like, and by then we'll catch him in the 200s, not the 300s for sure.
Well, I feel like at first it was like people of color as well that they were pulling out, wasn't it?
There was a couple because all they knew that they were like, it's definitely a dude based on the criminology and like the profiling and stuff.
Probably has a kid with him.
Probably has a kid with him, probably this age. So it was like that. And then he gets the radio when he does the coffee thing. And he hears, and I think that's when I don't think they narrow it down in terms of race, but they narrow it down in terms of like he has like a tattoo of some kind of animal on his arm and stuff like that. And he steals the slap bracelet and covers it up and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, so they actually never get like, they don't like overtly kind of like the show not tell kind of thing. They start with with people of color, it seemed like for the first couple, then it's white guys and stuff. So it's like, which is a really good like psychological thriller thing where it's like they're not only physically getting closer, they're getting closer to what I look like and stuff. Yeah. Which is really great.
They're just like, we stop everybody no matter what.
No matter what, which is great in the way you should do it. But also, this profiler must be not that good because again, most of the time it's a white cis fucking man who's the serial killer. Black people, Asian people, fuck it, they're way less likely in this country. Obviously, like,
they got their own problems, man.
Like obviously in fucking like Asia, where it's mostly Asian people, your serial killers are probably going to be Asian, but they're still going to be fucking straight dudes most of the time. You know what I mean? You're in America.
Other than the DC sniper, I can't think of like, and maybe the Boston bombings. I can't think of a person of color who was implicated in a mass killing. You know what I mean? Like.
Not a lot. There is not a lot. And one of the outliers is Jeffrey Dahmer, who was gay.
Yep.
And he's an outlier and stuff. But he was a white man, and they didn't want to deal with him because they were like, ew, gross and stuff. And he lived in a black apartment building on purpose so they would think that he was a victim.
And it was an Asian kid that got away, right?
They were worried about him because he was white, living in a bad neighborhood, quote unquote, and stuff. Like, it's ridiculous. So, like, that, like, they do start with the POC people and stuff, and it's like, well, you're such a good profile. Again, I'm a big true crime fan, too. So it's like, that's... You end there because it's usually the other way around. As a white man, it's usually my folk that are the ones doing the fucked up.
We got too much time and money on our hands.
You get bored, you get bored.
If you don't have hobbies, you become a serial killer.
Exactly. And then your hobby becomes being a serial killer. And again, you can just walk into the middle of a SWAT meeting where they're talking about you actively and not be like, oh, he's got a badge on, he's fine. Like, oh, he knows the password, it's fine. Like,
I mean, the invisibility of him was definitely very jarring. Like you could blend in anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, there were certain moments where it was like, if he wasn't, which I think was intentional and a good filmmaking thing and stuff, it wasn't like I say this as a positive, where it was genuinely where I was like, if it wasn't focused on him with such a, if the shot wasn't such a, if the aperture wasn't so low where everything was blurry, if it was like a wide open aperture where everything was in frame, I wouldn't have been able to pick him out of a crowd. Out of the crowd.
No way.
During certain shots. Like they're focusing on him so I know where he is.
Yeah, you know, like someone said that. They're like, yeah, he looks just like the guy that soccer moms at school at the drop off line would be like, look at him, that's the firefighter,
and also he drives the minivan.
Yeah.
That's his car. It's established that his car is the minivan. And so,
exactly.
Like, such a wholesome dude and stuff and everything, which is very,
immaculate.
Oh yeah. Oh god, of course. Like it is. Like that's
no fries in the car.
No fries in the car. No fucking the windows on child lock. He's in control of the windows, no doubt. Like it's insane. Because like he I had it for a second. It doesn't matter. It was to illustrate the point of like he just everything is in control and everybody will just let him do whatever he wants. Now, I do have one issue. Honestly, one of my only issues, I think at first, when I first started talking about it, I was just kind of let down because I was like, there's no big fucking crazy twist. It's M. Night. Where's the fucking I see dead people, you're dead thing? Like, just like Lindsay from the AP said, like, I wanted that, but it's still a good popcorn movie. Yeah, like I'm getting there. He specifically says he's like, he's got Lady Raven in the car and they're about to leave. He opens the garage and his family's right there. And he's like, they're like, well, he's probably not going to run us over. Right. Yeah. Like, so they stand in front of the car, like is the intent of that, obviously. Yeah. And it's like, and then he specifically says, I locked them in Riley's room. There's a window with a door with a tree that's easy to get out of. I've never looked at this house in that lens.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, cut to, there's a secret passageway that goes to the neighbor yards and gets out. So he did look at the house in that lens. He had an escape route.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a rebuttal to that.
I'm sure you do, but like, please explain it to me. Cause I'm like, that's one of my major things of like storytelling issues, which is even when the story is bad, it still makes sense in the world and like the construct of the story that M. Night sets out. That was the one where I was like, he specifically says, I've never looked at this place in that lens because I keep my life separate. But also, they bust in and they're like, there is a secret passageway that leads out to the neighbor's yard so he can run away, which is the definition of looking at it in that lens.
Yeah.
Make that make sense for me, please.
Okay. So they established that he kept the two lives separate. So in the sense of that the two lives separate, the wires never cross, right? You know, he says that like there is still, they still have to at least be parallel to each other, right?
Right.
Because if they're ever not parallel, they will cross.
Yes.
At some point down the line.
Yeah, you have to pay enough attention to push away a little bit.
Right. So on a subconscious level, he knows I have to have a way to get out of here to keep the lives parallel. Maybe that's just how he got out and killed people, was through that passageway. And so in my mind, when he said I never thought of it that way, it's like he never thought his kids would be the one that so he never had to worry about how to get out of her room, because he never thought, because he was so good at keeping things separate, that she would be the one who would get out and tell on him, basically. That's why she would get out. So that's what I thought is like, on one level, he was like, yeah, I have because he also keeps his tools there in the garage. He does that secret compartment thing, grabs his tools out of there. So obviously he's got some overlap. He drives the black car still, you know what I mean?
He has a contingency plan.
Right. You know, he's a fire guy, so he knows the fire codes and which houses are abandoned. So there's definitely like, even though they are separate, they still are parallel to each other. There's still enough, you know, kind of overlap in the sense of like one does affect the other in the way. And in his mind, like as perfect as he is, that's not something he saw coming. And then like once that happens, it like sets off a chain of events of him just fucking up, basically, because he's like so off base from that point. Like he doesn't he's just acting emotionally.
Well, he starts super off base because he in that moment, because like as soon as Lady Raven snags his phone, and it's like, I'm going to the bathroom.
I thought he killed his wife. I thought he killed them outside the door.
It got. He like just he loses it at that point.
He loses it,
and like it's all downhill for him from there.
I thought he was coming through with an axe, bro. Do you think we're gonna have a shining moment right there, dude?
100%. I thought I had something like that going, or he was gonna, because you know he's a firefighter,
he's
so
a fireman.
Like, I know he knows how to kick down a door.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But
like there's no way he doesn't.
Enough that like I don't want to. I'm not trying to bust this down and break this open.
I can't do this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that makes complete and total sense too, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I hear what you're saying about the contingency plan and everything, but like, and like the parallel of the lives and stuff, keeping them, you have to do some work to keep them parallel so they don't overlap. But if you're gonna have the time to have an escape tunnel, it makes sense to.
You know what? I'm very elaborate escape tunnel, dude. You know what I'm gonna shelves down every time you used it.
You know what I'm gonna do before I make sure I have it. You know what I'm gonna make sure before I have an escape tunnel? Yeah, I'm gonna check all the exits.
Yeah, the fact that I'm gonna check one dude in the neighbor yard too, man. Like
exactly, I'm gonna check all the entrances and exits, like before I get to a fucking tunnel and stuff. So like, that's the only thing that I'm like, that kind of misses a little bit. But honestly, even that being the only thing is not that bad. I also didn't really understand, I guess, like just full blown narratively. I don't really understand like. What was his plan? Obviously, he was like, I'm telling Lady Raven, I'm the butcher. You're going to help me get out of here. I'm going to kill this fucking dude that I have because I got the carbon monoxide thing and stuff. Was like, so was he going to just, obviously she's going to, when she leaves, she's going to call the fucking cops and they're going to show up. Yeah. Like, was he just going to leave like with that bag and everything? Like that was his plan and stuff. Because we don't get to that moment because she shuts him down sooner rather than later and stuff. So he was just going to abandon his family and run away, basically. Like,
I think so.
And I'm not saying that I think that's dumb or like I think that's fair, and I think that makes sense. It's like he's like, I just got to go at this point. Like, I'm back against the wall. I got to go because I still want to keep killing people. So I
think he realizes that like the only person on the planet who ever could have betrayed me is my wife. That is the only person who could know in the end, and that's when he comes to that realization when he comes back and he's like, I just got to know one thing. How did you know? Because that he's coming to the realization at that point that the only person could, and she's like, I smell the cleaning chemicals. And he's like, well, nothing you could do about that. I guess it's going to end every other way it's ended. You know what I mean?
He's like, did you think I
Yeah,
like,
was having an affair.
Having an affair. Like, is that what made? And she's like, yeah, that's what started it.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
like, and then I broke into your safe house.
Yeah,
there wasn't anything there, but the thought just hit me, and it just wouldn't leave. And so,
it wouldn't leave me. I was like, oh man, Laura would totally do that.
and I really feel for her in that moment too, because it's like, I really feel for her in that moment because it's like, she's like, I thought best case scenario, they would stop you, find you, talk to you, and dismiss you.
It's got to. She even says that. She's like, it's got to be a mistake. We can talk to them. We can tell them that.
And I genuinely believe her. I believe her in that moment. But she's like,
I did this to help him.
Yeah, she's like, I believe that this is wrong, and like this was the only way to do it without forcing my hand of like calling the cops and having them show up and be like, your wife is scared of you. Like that's not good.
That's a domestic violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really bad thing. Even if he's not the butcher, that's just bad. They're getting divorced. You think I'm a fucking serial killer? And I'm not. Like, that's bad. Like, that's a bad thing and stuff. And like, so she did it the most like third party way she could figure to do it and stuff. So like, I respect all that and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely, I think I like this movie.
So we're talking about how basically the mistake that he made was the wife smelled the chemical. She thought it was an affair. And she's like, worst case, like, we'll talk to him and we'll tell him it was just an affair,
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And then I love how she like plays his OCD against him because he's like, I'm going to eat this in 5 bites. And she's like, I know, because she knows that he mechanically is just going to put it into his mouth while he like does his rant thing and gets on his soapbox,
Yeah.
I really like
chemicals from her bag and stuff.
Yeah,
and
the
she's
pills.
Like, is this how you did it? And he was like, just to calm him down. And it's
bro,
like,
how do you feel about standing up to 3 tasers,
bro? But like, also like, that's really scary with the pills where he's like, I just did this to calm him down. It's like, oh, you didn't with the pills, you did more fucked up shit. This was just screaming and shit. Like, that's fucking, because obviously you butchered him alive, bro, or is that post? Like, what is happening? And then fucking 3 tasers even after that and stuff. That poor guy getting his fucking eyes fucking like he gets his thumbs in that dude's eyes real hard, which is a bummer. Like,
he doesn't move again after that. He's definitely dead. Yeah, he's a goner.
If he's not dead, I would, if that was me, it's like, if I'm not dead, I'm just gonna lie here and let him think I'm dead. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, not to back up too much, but I do want to point out one other piece of storytelling that I really loved that as an older millennial, like I probably would have missed it if I hadn't really just been watching that movie with that kind of like eye of like, oh my gosh, this feels like old Shyamalan. I need to pay attention to things because it feels like old Shyamalan. So when she's playing the piano and the girl sits down and she grabs her phone and puts it in her pocket, and then the dad, Hartnett is like taking the recording with his phone. And then she grabs it and she knows that because, he's had it out and like been recording and stuff like that, it's open. And so she doesn't have to enter the code to unlock it. And so she's able to talk to the guy. I was like, dude, as like a Gen Z or Gen Alpha kid, you know what I mean? Like that totally, that the fact that they would think about that and know like, if he's doing that, I can take it and go do what I need to with it real quick. Like, and then 100%. She uses the live stream to like crowdsource.
Yes, dude, that was super fucking cool. I loved that.
Me too, dude.
Like, like literally, like if Taylor Swift did that.
Were you like reading the chat as they were going through? It's like, I love you. Hey, why haven't you messaged me back? It's just like all these like
oh my god, I love you, and people being like, what's going on? Like, what the fuck is this?
Scared, guys.
Yeah, she looks scared. Like, is this serious? Like, people and stuff, and people like, what are you doing? Like, what is that noise? Like, all this stuff. It's like, literally, like if Taylor Swift like was in that situation. They would be able to find this person just as fast, like that. And I love that intent, like that intent of that moment. Because like I was thinking when like he had the phone, it's like I was thinking like he's not recording her. He's holding. He has the button.
Oh yeah,
he's just gonna tell his daughter like, "Oops. I fucked up. Your old dad like fucked up taking a video and stuff, like, so sorry, but like you'll always remember it and stuff like that." But I think what you're saying makes sense too, where it's like because she turns it around and like it's all I think it's like she turns it around and she does like that. Like I don't think it would be so, because when she grabbed it I thought she was gonna like hold it up and then Riley was gonna be like, what's that? And then it was gonna start a whole conversation. That's what I thought too. There.
That's what I thought
like, that's what I thought. But like I think what you're saying makes sense, where it's like he was taking a video, she grabs it, flips over to the photo, like she knows how to do that super smooth, obviously because she's a Gen Zer and stuff, like she knows how they work and everything. Yeah, I loved those moments, like those kind of things. It felt very real and stuff.
It
and
did.
like
it
the
wasn't
way
forced either, right? Like,
it wasn't for all,
yeah,
and the way
yeah.
the like juxtaposition of like the narratives of like his two lives, where it's like the parallel, it's getting closer and
Yep.
closer the longer this Lady Raven girl is in this house and stuff, and it's just like going and going, and then finally she takes his phone and he's like, it's over.
Well, she forces him, the dad, to admit that he's him, the butcher. Like, he says to her, like, okay, you know what, you caught me.
Yeah,
I should die. This should be the end for me. But
true. Yeah, that's actually more of that.
We're not going to do that. So, but yeah, I mean, I thought he did a great job of building suspense throughout the film. The self-insert, it is what it is, I guess. It is
what it is. It's honestly,
yeah,
pretty fucking awesome. Like, as weird as this is gonna be to say, it's like pretty dope nepotism, dude. She's great. she's great.
Good.
Like, her songs are bopping, dude. Like, I like that he kind of used
his own trope to kind of like play us into the red herrings as well, you know, because I mean, he knows his reputation, you know what I mean? Like, and I think he kind of played that against the audience in a fun way. That's like, I know what you guys think, and here's how that's not going to work out this time.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
again, I was super convinced when that when they were backstage, that second girl came in super drunk and was like falling over and stuff. I was like, this is some super fucked up ritual that's happening, and that's what it is. And it's like, it's a trap. The trap is the people in attendance, not the serial killer. Like, I was like convinced that that's what it was for like a solid 15 minutes. I was like, they're all gonna die. Like, and that's what the point is and stuff, in some fucked up weird way and stuff. So I like how he did that, honestly. Like, I think he did that on purpose, which is super
absolutely.
So, do you have anything else super pressing?
Not really, man. I mean, I think my final score would be like a 3.5 probably. It was enjoyable to me. I'll probably watch it again when it comes out on streaming, try and catch some details, maybe, you know, like,
I'd say 7 out of 10, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like, I thought it was going to be a straight 2. Like,
I did too. I had my
5,
expectations were in the cellar, dude. I cannot explain to you how my wife was like, the only thing playing is Trap, and I was like, I guess we'll see that.
Yeah,
like, have you seen a trailer? And I was like, I've not even seen a trailer.
Nope.
Let's just go see it.
Like, oh, M. Night Shyamalan squeaked out another movie. I guess we'll go see it.
I never saw the devil in the elevator, and from the trailer, I knew it was the old woman. So I was like, I'm not watching a trailer. At least if I go see this movie, I'm not going to be spoiled on it. You know what I mean? Like, let me just go see it and try and enjoy it. And I did. I did enjoy it. I did.
I did too. I straight up. And thank you for texting me about it, because I genuinely probably would not have gone to see this movie in theaters if you hadn't texted me and been like, hey, I want to be on the pod to talk about this, because like this, I don't know how to feel, like, and like it's good, it's bad, there's a lot and stuff, and I was like, okay, like, I would not have gone to see this movie in the theaters. I would have not gone to see it, but like, I'm really happy I did, because I genuinely enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Like, well, I'm gonna hop off of here, man.
It was rad.
Thank you for having me so much, dude.
Thank you for being here. Anything you want to plug?
Thank you. So I do have a stream on YouTube. I've got some shorts on there too. But youtube.com at Drubius, Drubius Deus, Dais, like a pavilion that you sit on. But no one knows how to pronounce it, so I should probably change it, because I'm sabotaging myself. But youtube.com at Drubius Deus. Thanks, man. It has meaning to me, and that's why I do it anyway. So it's just fun. I just play a lot of games. I play whatever I taste that week, you know. I mean, I change it up all the time. So
he ain't over here playing the most popular game that every streamer's doing. He's playing whatever the fuck he wants, which is
my 10-year-old is my biggest fan. He's also my biggest content suggester. So pretty much, if he's like, Dad, will you play this game and I can watch it, I'm like, yeah, man. Absolutely. Sure, let's do it. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush was a great game. I've got a great series on Hi-Fi Rush.
I've heard a lot about that.
It's a good game.
It's a good game. I've heard a lot about
Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, it's free. Definitely play it. But
good to know.
No free ads. No.
Yeah. Check Drew out on check Drew out on YouTube, dude. Catch him playing some games. I watched you playing that vampire one, like where you just like the waves
Vampire
and stuff.
Survivors.
Vampire Survivor.
They just really released couch co-op for that game, dude.
No way.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Maybe to 4 players on the couch. Maybe
we try to do something like that.
That'd be involved too.
That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. All right, well, definitely check Drew out on YouTube for any game stuff and everything. I play games. I'm bad at them. It's not fun watching me play. Drew is different. He's good at them. It's fun watching him play. So check him out for that. Yeah, good movie. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good overall. Like,
I was very pleasantly surprised.
Definitely pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Well, thank you for being on. Thank you for hitting me up and being like, we got to talk about this, because this was a treat of a movie. I did not think it was going to be that good. So that was awesome. Hell yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.